One mod that literally everyone playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now needs to download is Fix Skill Progression Rewards Not Applying. With patch 2.01, a new bug was introduced so that when saving the game on this new update, most of the skill progression rewards would just break. So this level 40 Headhunter skill should typically make me cloak in optical camo as I grapple with an enemy, but it just doesn't work. Thankfully, this mod will fix almost all of those, at least until we get that official update from CDPR, so any of these skill rewards will be working once again, although do note that the top Netrunner skill just doesn't work. This should be allowing me to see enemies through walls as I do have overclock mode activated, but no, it doesn't work and it has never worked since being implemented. In a similar vein, unfair car delivery timers will remove some of the absolutely impossible times you would get with delivering slow cars. With Phantom Liberty, there are these new time delivery missions, but users almost immediately noticed that when you start to do some of these missions for the slow cars and there was a time associated with it, the car was so slow and the time so short that it was basically impossible to get to the destination in time. This mod will make these timers longer, making the optional objectives actually doable here. And two quality of life mods that came from the same mod authors. Faster checkpoints will dramatically reduce the scanning time in the Dogtown Gate checkpoint, so you can get through this gate far more quickly, and this is going to be super handy for the delivery missions as well, while the better armor tooltip will change the information shown when hovering over your armor rating. By default in patch 2.0, it tells you your hypothetical damage reduction based on your level. So here it's basically saying I could get up to 44% damage reduction if I had a bunch more armor, which is kind of a random and almost irrelevant stat. But with this mod, it'll instead tell you the current damage reduction you're getting with the current value of your armor. So you can see here, I have 656 armor, so I'm reducing incoming damage by 26%. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been seeing a ton of insane quality of life mods for Cyberpunk. These are going to enhance or improve your experience, specifically with patch 2.0 and Phantom Liberty. So many of those frustrating features are either removed or reworked, although we've also started to see some very special new mods come out, as one of Night City's first new NPCs was just implemented into the game as a companion, and we even have mods implementing a couple of new very interesting romance options into Night City. Starting off with some of the quality of life options, Unlock Me the Mods will restore the ability to remove mods from weapons after patch 2.0. So now with this mod, you can freely add and remove mods from weapons. And sniper rifles can also have their scopes removed freely. Typically after 2.0, weapons classified as a sniper would have their scope attachment locked once you applied it. This will remove that lock, and it even has a really nice feature of automatically removing mods applied to weapons if you scrap or sell them. So as you scrap a weapon, it'll return all of the attachments and mods to your inventory. Another highly requested change is infinite attribute reset. So you'll be able to reset your attributes as many times as you want, instead of just that one-time opportunity after loading in with an existing save under patch 2.0. And a great mod to add on to that is No More Tiers. This will remove the attribute locked tiers that were implemented with patch 2.0. So once again, you're able to freely unlock perks as long as you do have enough available perk points. And alternatively, there is a version of this mod that will simply decrease the attribute cost at each tier instead of removing it entirely, if you do like having some barriers as you want to go up, but don't necessarily want the prices to be so high. Specifically, getting to 20 attribute points for the highest tier can be quite cumbersome, so this mod could be a nice halfway point of just making it 12. Smoother dodge or dash is a great one, as this will make using that dodge or even the new dash ability just feel a lot smoother. In vanilla Cyberpunk 2077, after dashing, you basically get this brief period of deceleration. It almost kills your momentum. This mod effectively removes that, so on both dodges and dashes, you will go slightly further, but far more important is your momentum is maintained, and you could really feel it and continue that speed to maneuver more freely and efficiently. And if you're sick and tired of trying and failing to be a stealthy netrunner, disable Reveal Position Hack will remove the ability for enemies to trace you off of quick hacks alone, with one major exception, and that is if you're hacking a netrunner, that netrunner will be able to track your position. There are ways around this in vanilla Cyberpunk, but for a lot of people, you just want to maintain your stealthy ability while quick hacking from afar, and this mod gives you that ability. And a nice one to add to this is the default to data tab. This will revert the 2.0 change where when you scan an enemy, it'll automatically show you the hacking tab instead of the data tab, which gives you information on your enemy. Now, a couple of weeks into patch 2.0, I'd much rather be able to see quickly what the enemy's info is. And if you're looking for a few more of the custom mods to improve the experience with patch 2.0, don't worry, I still got you covered. If you hate how crafting components were removed from junk vendors, the Craft Hardware store is an easy fix. This will add in a new virtual atelier vendor that will sell all of the crafting components for a price. Like here, where I spend almost 1 million eddies stocking up on some of those tier 5 crafting components. For those of you sick of the hassle of having to disassemble basically every weapon you encounter to actually keep up with crafting, this is a nice alternative that still has costs associated with it. In a similar vein, there is also the Iconic shop, which will add in a shop that sells all of the iconics in the game, including the new ones from Phantom Liberty. There are two variants with this mod, one where they sell as legendary, but also the one I prefer where all of these are sold as common. Basically a bunch of tier 1 weapons, which makes it a lot more balanced as you're going to need to invest significant resources to upgrade these to be viable on your character compared to some of the other weapons you have. And I feel like this makes sense because CDPR did literally add a vendor that sells missed iconics, but for some reason it doesn't sell all of the missed iconics. There's still a variety you can miss permanently, and this shop gives you a nice alternative to make sure you don't miss anything. And if you've been missing the Scrapper perk, modders have brought it back. With this mod, as you pick up random junk items, they'll be automatically broken down into crafting components. This was previously a perk in the game, and honestly, it just makes a ton of sense for it to be here. There are a ton of barely valuable junk items you could find in Night City, and it's just a lot handier to have common resources instead of those items. Upgrade Weapons Unlocked is a mod I'm sure a lot of you are going to like. It allows you to upgrade any weapon in Cyberpunk 2077. There's another feature removed with patch 2.0, where they made it so you could only upgrade iconics, but this mod will expand that functionality to all of the weapons in your inventory, which is particularly handy as most iconics don't have mod slots, while typical weapons do, so now you could actually have some very powerful builds with regular tier 5+ weapons. Enemy finisher ragdolls will make it so enemies killed by a finisher won't be permanently stuck in this plank-like phase, and instead they'll go into a typical ragdoll-like state after the fact. And what really takes this mod to the next level is stealth finishers from the same author. This mod will add in the ability to use a finisher on enemies as you sneak up behind them with your weapon out. So instead of having to grab them and take them down that way, you can quickly and efficiently take them out with some weapon and oftentimes in brutal fashion. These visuals look amazing, and it's really fun as a way to expand the prevalence of finishers in game. I know for me, I've never used many of these finishers because I just typically don't use some of these weapons. At times, this could definitely be a bit unimmersive due to how loud some of the finishers are, but you can still maintain stealth. But honestly, with how cool many of these look, the immersion breaking factor doesn't bother me all that much. But another absolutely massive new mod, Lucy from Edgerunners, has been added into Night City. As of right now, this will be a pretty simple one. Lucy will appear in a few locations around Night City. I don't want to spoil them all, although unfortunately, she is largely just a prop here, as you can't really interact with her. But far more impactful is, while using Lucy with the appearance menu mod, you could spawn her in as a functional follower. She'll drive around with you or even help you out in combat, and this version of her is scannable with her full background as well as a variety of abilities being present on this NPC. Honestly, it is a pretty simple mod, but I love this one. For those who did really enjoy Edgerunner, seeing some of those characters in Night City is huge, and more so than anything else, I'm excited to see where a mod like this could potentially go in the future. It feels like in many ways, this could definitely be the start of something big. Although if you are seeking a bit more interaction with NPCs, Rita Wheeler Romance will add in a new romance option into Night City. Rita Wheeler is the door guard at Lizzie's club, the Mox Club, and of course she's going to be a member of the Mox gang herself. With this mod, the next time you visit her at work, you'll notice some concerning phone calls, and you can even inquire with her, going back and forth with some dialogue. After you do this a couple of times, eventually Rita will text us, thanking us for checking up on her, and offering a bit of a special visit if we're interested. Then as you return to the bar when it's closed, you'll have a full-fledged romance opportunity with Rita if you want to pursue it. It's a relatively small mod, but I honestly think this one's pretty cool. I feel like it is a fairly immersive romance option in the game, and if you want an even more interesting one, you can romance the Flaming Crotch Man as well. This one is hilarious. There's a side quest in Cyberpunk 2077 known as Burning Desire. You'll find this man outside his apartment that seems to have had something very bad happen in his crotch area. The job is simple. You take him to a local Ripperdoc who will help him out, and after he's going to text you thanking you. But with this mod, you can take it even further, as a few days later, the Flaming Crotch Man, which is how he is referred to throughout the entirety of this, making it even funnier, will describe how that Ripperdoc gave him a bit of an upgrade, and he invites us to come try it out, proceeding to another new romance option in Night City. And with this one, Johnny Silverhand will even share his own commentary on the events that are occurring. Ripperdoc is a super handy new mod that allows you to manage your cyberware without ever visiting a Ripperdoc. And while there has been similar mods in the past, this mod is even more handy with patch 2.0 and some of the new mechanics. So now you can move around your own cyberware on the fly. You still can't buy cyberware, but you could swap out what you have installed or even upgrade some of your cyberware without having to visit a Ripper dock. And changing around some of the ARM cyberware can be genuinely handy on the move because of the new synergies. But what you may have also noticed is this extra OS slot. This is a mod from the same mod author known as Cyberware EX. And what this is going to do is allow you to install 2 operating systems at once, as long as you do have the cyberware capacity available, and this mod will actually incorporate some of the new perks, so you need to unlock certain perks in order to open up this new cyberware slot. And from there, you can get some pretty insane combat encounters. You could use quick hacks to soften enemies, then finish them off with Berserk as you move in, or alternatively, of course, you can use a Cyberdeck and a Sandevistan at the same time to get some pretty crazy slow time combos. And there's even an optional version of this mod that will increase the capacity of a variety of other cyberware slots, and even allows you to have up to 3 operating systems at once. And although at first glance this could appear to be a bit overpowered, it honestly is surprisingly balanced because you still have to deal with the cyberware capacity system, so you still will be limited in how much cyberware you can actually apply to your character unless you heavily invest with perks or other things. And during all of this gameplay, I was also using the really cool new mod with Preem Scanner. This will remove the pixelated effect green tint vignette and even change the crosshair while using your scanner, which I think just looks a lot nicer and just overall going to be a nice visual change. With that said, that's a little over 20 mods you can download right now for Cyberpunk 2077 that will genuinely make patch 2.0 and Phantom Liberty a bit more fun. And if you are diving into the new expansion, check out this video where I share a bunch of hidden features tied to the expansion and new update.